Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this January 11th meeting of the Tourist Development Council to order. And shall we have the dynamic duo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you like to give the invocation, please, Jackie?
Thank you, I will. If y'all join me, please. Bow your heads, Heavenly Father. We thank you again for the opportunity to meet. We pray that you guide our decisions and let everything work for the better of all our whole community. We just again thank you for awesome life we have in Citrus County and in this country. We ask these things and thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
All right, so for the meeting today, we have Chair Holly Davis, Vice Chair Mike Ingalls, Councilwoman Jackie Hepfer, Councilwoman Cindy Guy, Michael Mankey, and Michael Shoemaker. We have a quorum.
Excellent. All right, looking for approval of agenda. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
All right. Any board discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I called last week to have an item added to the agenda, and it's not there, and then they told me it has to be approved and go through legal, and I didn't know our board was so different from this one, because any member can ask to have something put in and they add it. So what did I miss?
John?
So it does have, we do have a process, and so by the time I got that email, I was out of the office Friday, and the agenda had already been set and published. So so when I checked with legal, that's what I was informed. So
And do we follow the same protocol as BOCC, that it's due basically
Yep.
the Friday a week and a half?
it's
Week
yeah,
and a
it's
half before the meeting.
yeah, those things. It runs through the same agenda system that the county commission meetings do, and
Yeah.
so the council receives the agenda most times the Wednesday before. Sometimes it's the Thursday before the meeting. My deadline is the Wednesday before that to go through to get everything in the system and have it approved. So we have really until
Monday a week and a half, 10 days before.
Yeah.
10 days before this meeting would
Yeah.
be our deadline. I apologize for that being a snafu, but it's the county, we have such a huge thing to run that that agenda tracking software requires a lot of heads up. For example, for the next meeting in 2 weeks, my agenda items are due this Friday, if I have anything to add. So, okay, any further board comment? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. What is item 4A? Attachment. Okay. All right, looking for approval of minutes, item B1.
So moved. Second.
Any board discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, open to the public. Just state your name for the record and 3 minutes, please.
All right, Woody Worley with the City of Inverness. You have a handout in front of you, a slide presentation that with what I'm going with today. So what I wanted to talk about is our Inverness Country Jam. This is an event that we had just put on. It was a very successful event for the first time. And we want to continue to do this event, but we cannot do it without the support from the TDC. The next one that we have coming up in 2023 is also an event that will take place with the annual bike trail event in Inverness, as well as the market at the depot. We're not looking for any type of equity appropriation of funds between the two cities. We're looking for support for this event. We totally understand that the TDC does not want to support or be a part of this event. The city of Inverness always have backup plans where, we can go in a different direction at any point. But we want to offer you this opportunity to be part of not only a successful event that was in Inverness, but I'm going to show you some things that shows that, this could be very beneficial for the entire county. So in 2022, it was a 3-day event. We had 14 performers, 2 stages. You can see some of the pictures of everything that transpired. With this event, ticket sales were not only inside Citrus County, but a majority of them came from outside of Citrus County. You can see the top 7 states there from ticket sales. Also the top 5 Florida cities, Orlando, Tampa, the Villages. People came from all over the place to attend this event. With this event, you had the hotels were sold out in Citrus County. You had bands, bus drivers, road managers, crews that stayed a total of 25 nights in Citrus County. And then you had a total of 60 rooms throughout the county for the event for just the members of the bands. Highlights from their stays. And again, this is just the band. This is also including the ones that came from Orlando, came from Tampa, that came from out of state. They enjoyed local restaurants, bars. They visited the manatees at Three Sister Springs. They went kayaking here in Crystal River. And then they were exploring the Withlacoochee State Trail. So in 2023, our plans are to have this event October 7th and 8th. And like I stated, this is also going to happen with the annual bike trail event, as well as our market at the depot and some other events throughout the month. This is going to be a 2-day event, and then we will also have events throughout the entire month of October. We are narrowing it down to just Liberty Park. And like I said, working together to diversify opportunities for tourism, we want the TDC to support and be a part of this event. It's a great opportunity, like I said, not only for Inverness, but for the entire county. People from all over the place came and, partook of the amenities, and it was a great opportunity to showcase what Citrus County has to offer. Because they didn't come just for the concert. They came to do all the other parts with the concert. And so like I said, totally understand if TDC doesn't want to be a part of this, and we're more than welcome to go in a different direction. But we would like the support of the TDC.
Thank you, Mr. Worley.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right. Then we will close open to the public and move on to presentations.
Not only does my car didn't start, my brain's not starting this morning either. So Local Lines Television, we have the captain, Brandon Branch, here to tell you a little bit more about it. It's something a little different than our some of the other fishing opportunities that we've explored. I think it's a good opportunity, and I think we should let Brandon tell you a little bit more about it, and then we'll go from there. So, Brandon.
Good morning. I'm Captain Brandon Branch. I'm a native of Crystal River. I've lived here my whole life. My family's been around here for a long time. I started Crystal River Fishing Company, which is a charter business, about 6 years ago, and it's been very, very successful. Last year, we decided we were going to go a little bit of a different route and start a TV show. It is shown on Waypoint TV. Last year, it was just the live streaming on the app or on your TV that you could look up. This year, we're looking to go to the linear channel that they have, which is going to bump our views up tremendously from what we were at last year. Last year, we were just under 3 million views. This year, this will bump us up to about 10 or 11 million views. They have 80 million monthly viewers. But what's a little bit different about us is we're going to be doing something that's going to help the whole entire county. We're going to be doing a bass show, which will be on one of the lakes around that, whichever one's producing the best at the time. But we're also going to be doing a hunting and a fishing segment. It's a 30-minute show. We're going to be hunting for turkeys on the first half or second half, and then we're going to be chasing trout and redfish on the other part. It's something that not a lot of people have done in the TV community here in Citrus County, being able to go do both. We have a tremendous hunting and outdoor, basically, not just fishing. Most people are focusing on the fishing, but our hunting is tremendous. We have Citrus, we have Lake Pan. There's a bunch of places that are open to the public to go hunting. So that's our other one. And then our third show that we would shoot here in Citrus County is going to be just an inshore polling show for trout and redfish. Something that not a lot of people are offering as well. This will include 6 trips on my boat or wherever they would like to go for riders or people of the board that want to go see what we're offering. So it's 6 full day or half day trips, whatever they would like. If they want to go see manatees, scallop, fish, whatever they would like to do, that is offered in our package as well. So that's something that's really kind of pushing us over the top from the others, is we're going to get everyone out there to see. It's up to 4 people that can come, and whatever they would like to do, we can get it taken care of. Anticipated views this season between the show and social media, it's going to be somewhere around 20 million views. I just signed with AFCO, and Waypoint has over 15 million viewers on their social media, which I will be put on their platform, commercials, little slideshows. That is 25 posts on their social media a year on Waypoint. In our airings, what we're looking to do is they have a marathon block, which will be a 3-hour block of nothing but local Lions TV. And then we're looking to do 104 airings over 24 weeks, 2 of which will be prime time, Saturday or Sunday morning or afternoon viewings. That's between 7 and 9 a.m. and 4 and 7 p.m. It would get y'all a commercial, a 30-second mid-spot commercial on the show, along with a couple others. Sodium's got their commercial, and then Diamond Fishing Products will have their commercial. It'll be featured, so on their live streaming, will be featured at their Trending Now, which will get us more views for 10 weeks in a row. So on the live stream, that'll get us more views there. Social media content, if Discover Crystal River or anyone in the county is looking for content, we shoot once a month just for social media stuff, videos, pictures of everything in the county, not just wildlife. I mean, eagles, birds, deer, fish, a little bit of everything. So we do that once a month. And also it will get you a spot on my boat wrap and my truck wrap for the season. And what we're looking for is $18,000, and that is the allotted amount to get on the live TV section for the year, which will get us those more views. We will also be traveling, fishing some of the bigger redfish circuits in Florida this year. We'll be fishing the Professional Redfish League and the Florida Redfish Series. So that will be a lot of exposure, traveling the state of Florida from here to the Panhandle all the way to Jacksonville. We'll be doing that throughout the year as well. So we have a lot of good things going, and it's looking to be a great season for us.
Excellent. Board, do you have any questions?
Pretty complete program. I don't know.
Looks like Plantation is already a sponsor.
That's what I'm trying to stay quiet.
I don't know fishing, but Waypoint, is that a Florida audience, a Southeast audience,
No,
a national audience?
It's a national audience. It can be streamed anywhere in the world. And there is, I think now they have 57 TV shows on Waypoint in climbing. So there's going to be a bunch more. They have a bunch of podcasts and things like that. But what we're really looking to do is to get on that linear section of their TV channel. So like Samsung will have its own channel for Waypoint. Vizio has their own channel. So it's really growing tremendously.
Thank you.
Sounds pretty good.
Staff, was this on our agenda because you
Yes.
think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's part of it is the trips that makes it easy. We it's something we haven't done a lot of in terms of taking media and putting them out and let them experience the fishing side. We're crushing it with the manatee trips. The trade folks or the media. I mean that's our. But this other side of we talk about it, but being able to go out there and experience it and you keep it, catch and release, however you want to go about that is something. Because I think the fishing here is a little different. You don't have to go so far to catch different types of species. Where other side of the state you got to go way out there. I mean, I used to. Well, I didn't really fish. I mostly slept in the cuddy cabin with, as I was so seasick. But out of
And
Cape
the truth
Canaveral,
comes
yeah,
out.
out of Cape Canaveral with my father, we had to go. I mean, it was forever. That's all I remember. And then, but to get to where you could catch, what you wanted to catch. So, but I also, when Brandon mentioned, we get the east side with the bass fishing, and also something that we haven't done that I know exists. It's not something I do either, but is the hunting, and that's a small. That's something that's untouched so far for us in terms of our marketing. So having that exposure to that group, I think, is a positive thing.
Yeah.
We've been trying for a while to find a guide that'll take the bass fishing charters for us. That way we can highlight the east side. We just haven't really had the opportunity. So the fact that he's open to doing the bass charters is huge. I was just talking to our PR team the other day about possibly getting people to have their own boat to come in because we don't have somebody. So that would make life 10 times easier for the press trips. He's also, from my old job there, great on social media. All of his, he tags us in a lot of great content currently, so it'll be nice to have things shot specifically the way we need. And when Alyssa and I went to do a With Lecanto State Forest tour, they told us all about some of the different hunting camps that even I, growing up here, didn't realize we had. So there's definitely some opportunity on that side as well. I agree with John.
Awesome. I'm coming. Just so you know, I'm coming in a little cold because of various family things that I just went through this last week.
Yep.
So John and I didn't get a briefing prior to this meeting, so I'm catching up a little
Absolutely.
bit. So, John, we need to do that get
Yep.
back on that for February.
Will do.
Okay. Anybody like to make a motion, or is there any more board discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Second
They're fighting over you. That's a good sign. All right. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, any further board discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
I don't see our next group, the Save Crystal River, so we'll kick that to next month. Because nobody, they should present their own stuff.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So I did speak to them, but I'm not sure what happened, why they didn't
Take
show.
a zero off and
How
we'll
much
vote on it
were
now.
they asking for?
A lot.
250.
So,
Take a zero off. And
but
we'll vote
to help,
Penalty.
the project is to help complete the loop on the whole bay. But yeah, I'll get with them.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
get
a
them
big amount.
next month and do that. So,
Okay, moving right along.
yep, that's the way I like it, right? Just clipping like wrong.
I do try to run a tight
That's
meeting.
so. Next we have Madden, TJ Fletcher, and Josh Johnson. Right? Okay, I just like I wanted to make sure because I thought that was right. Josh Johnson and Brett Gordon are all here to give an update of the successes so far, and also bring you up to date on a couple of requests. Remember from the augmented reality, we are looking at zoos for activations, and so we have the information back. And then there's another project that we're looking to do. So At this point, I'll turn it over to TJ and Josh and Brett, and they'll walk you through it.
Hey guys, Brett Gordon, Chief Revenue Officer at Madden. I'm going to quickly get out of the way because TJ is going to go through a lot of the content here, but I just wanted to take a minute. I was here and just express my appreciation for all of you guys and the great partnership we have, especially John, Terry, Jody, and the team. The great work we do and just your openness to the innovative ideas and pushing the needle is just made for a great partnership, and especially for our staff, the excitement they have to be able to do that great work just goes a long way for us. So I just wanted to take just a second and express that appreciation before TJ comes up and gives you a whole lot of great data and insights on what we've been doing. So thank you guys, and I'll hand it to TJ.
All right, good to see everybody again. Let me make sure the clicker works. There we go. All right. Well, so Josh and I have been here the last couple of days filming for the augmented reality. So we did our underwater filming the last 2 days, and what a great experience. We captured a lot of great footage. Manatees, mom and calf just coming right up to our camera and resting on the camera, basically. So we can't wait to go through all the footage and see what amazing shots we've got, so we can move forward with this augmented reality campaign. So today we're going to talk about a couple of different things. We're going to go over fiscal year 22 highlights, so October through September of 2022. So I know it's a little bit kind of a couple of months old here, but we do want to kind of wrap up the end of the year with some of those key highlights. Then I'll talk briefly about this last quarter, and then move on to the zoos as well as a photo shoot. So for fiscal year 22, we did have creative updates. We update some of the imagery as well as our font typography. These are all new print ads where we've also incorporated QR codes to be able to scan and track any of the data that people might scan in those print ads. We also updated all of our digital ads with some updated photography as well as that typeface again, and just making it a little bit more modern and not so kind of, I think the word was childish that was used last time.
Sorry.
Was that the meeting I missed in December? If anybody had asked me who would have said that, I probably would have nominated you.
So this is an example of our Book Midweek and Save campaign where we're pushing that midweek travel stays. We also ran a lot of traditional media in 2022. As you can see here, this is just a snapshot of those print ads in the publications that we ran in. For fiscal 22, we also had a lot of new projects. So between what we came to recommend as well as the staff for Crystal River, there were a lot of new projects that happened in 22, especially with our international markets, which has made a significant impact in our data metrics. So some brief highlights for the campaign. We saw a 53% increase in new users over the prior year, meaning over 500,000 more people went to the website this past year. We had an increase in visitors from family vacationers as well as people that were in market from to Orlando as well. And this is what I can't believe. Almost 2.5 years of video was watched of our videos for Crystal River. So if you think sitting there 24 hours a day for 2.5 years, that's how much content was pushed out from a video standpoint. Just an amazing amount of work. And then we had over 500,000 social media engagements through comments, shares, likes, and engagements with our social media ads as well. So what does this mean in kind of layman's terms? It means our digital first strategy is working. As you can see here, 3 through 10 are all paid media traffics. Those are your top drivers to traffic on the website beyond direct and organic traffic. And that's all paid media through Madden. So 34% of all that web traffic is generating from our digital campaigns. And then as you see, even down into 16, 19, 23 through 25, more of our different campaigns. So making a significant impact to the traffic that we're driving to Discover Crystal River. We also saw a 20% increase in our overall referrals to partners. So taking all of that content and then pushing it out to the outfitters, to the hotels, to the attractions here in Crystal River. So this is showing a difference between some of the 21 partners versus the 22 partners. Hampton Inn and so forth made the list for top partner referrals for
TJ?
22.
Can you back up one slide? I'm sorry.
Sure. That's fine.
Got how many? You did not highlight organic, and do you not need to also take credit for? Or I'm gonna try to toot your own horn for you. Take credit for some of the organic as well.
I've got some slides in here about organic, but we started SEO in October of this year.
Okay.
So this is
because I know in our own firm we push organic hard because it just lives on forever and ever, and it leverages over time.
Yep.
And you don't keep paying for it, which is good.
Yep. And
So-
I do appreciate that. And I'll talk a little bit about organic here in a minute.
Okay.
You did.
So I'm not going to go through all of these numbers. You'll get a copy of this deck, but I just wanted to point out a couple of key highlights here. For search engine marketing, Google paid keywords, and RLSA, remarketing list for search ads. The travel and tourism industry benchmark is 4.68%. We're driving an 11.8 click-through rate. So, I mean, well above the industry standard, meaning that we're driving relevant traffic for those people who are actively looking for keywords related to Crystal River. So a really high engaged audience. As you can also see from the bounce rate being only 49%. When you have that bounce rate so low, it means that we're sending people to the right pages. They're getting the information that they're looking for. Another thing, for prospecting and display ads, we also use a tactic for responsive, smart, using AI technology and machine learning tactics. We've been able to increase that industry benchmark of 0.2% all the way up to 0.76% for Crystal River. And then with video, again, as I mentioned, 2.27 years of branded content with over 2.4 million views across video as well as OTT. So just some amazing work and really pushing out that brand awareness message. So mentioning organic, between the efforts that we have been doing, also working with Gosh PR as well as Terry, we're really seeing some increases in our organic traffic. As you can see here from the UK, Canada, Germany, and the Netherlands, we've seen significant increases year over year. The UK over 129% increase, over 132% engagement increase. Canada, almost 86% increase year over year. Germany, 142%. The Netherlands, 146%. So really working with this international strategy and seeing the uptick after COVID of the interest generated here in Crystal River. Not only are we seeing a lot of spikes in international traffic, we're really now seeing kind of some of the fruits of our efforts over the last couple of years with the brand awareness messaging and getting more people aware of Crystal River and all that there is to do here. So some of our key markets that we have focused on, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, and DC, we've also seen significant increases in organic traffic, New York being 110%. Their average length of stay is a little over 3 days. Atlanta, almost 5 days, with an organic increase of over 48%. Chicago staying a little over 4.25 days, and DC 4.52 days with an organic increase of 20%. So these are really key indicators that people, are actively looking, people are, researching, people are wanting to have that interest in Crystal River to get inspired to actually come and make that conversion to visit. So we will also invest in data, mobile data intelligence. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what we have seen from 21 to 22. Specifically, we saw a shift in Georgia, North Carolina, Indiana, and New York. Our top state remained Georgia, but you can see in 2021, Ohio and Michigan ranked as second and third, where this year we saw North Carolina and Ohio, Michigan, Tennessee, Indiana, as well as we have now popped up New York as one of our top markets. Again, going back to my mention on organic traffic, New York was one of those markets. So I'm happy to see New York in the list here as well. This data is all compiled from mobile data, so people who have actually been in destination and were pinging their mobile device location. So based upon that, we also look at some of the top attractions that people are going to when they're in market. So here's a list comparing 21 and 22 for where people actually went and what those top attractions are based on representative percentages. Citrus Avenue Shopping District, the Plantation, Crystal River Riverwalk, Homosassa Springs, Hunter Springs, etc. And then, as you all know, as you get this report every month, we saw great increases across the board, not only with short-term rentals, but also with your STAR reports, seeing increases across the board in occupancy rate, ADR, RevPAR, everything was increased and had another great year. So a lot of those campaigns, again, were focused on brand awareness, but we also ran some specific campaigns that measure attribution. So meaning somebody that saw the ad and then actually showed up in market that we're able to track. We're looking at not only how many people that generates from a visitation standpoint, but also our return on advertising spend. So for these campaigns, we ran a Conversant Epsilon campaign in the spring that generated a 13-to-1 ROAS, return on advertising spend. This campaign was significant, as you all remember. This was a special funding request, and it generated over $1.4 million that were actually spent and measured by Epsilon using credit card data here in market. They measured over 26,000 total transactions, spent over $177 kind of per visitor, and they were able to track over 7,000 people that actually saw their ads and then showed up in market from that messaging campaign. We also ran a video campaign with Choosel that measured video performance. We had almost 1 million impressions with a 97% completion rate of people actually watching the whole video. Excuse me. And we were able to measure that campaign generated almost $200,000 in revenue, over 1,000 nights booked by the campaign, with a return on advertising spend of over $6. We also had Tampa 10 come out and do a segment, and we also ran video campaigns across their network. We did a lifestyle shoot in addition to this, and it was a success as well. They actually measure their attribution with Arrivalist, which is one of our data partners. They had a 98% view-through completion rate. Over 4,000 hours were watched, generating a return on advertising spend of almost $7, with over $170,000 in revenue from hotel nights booked. So these are great campaigns that we can do to measure the attribution and get some of this real-world data and how effective the marketing campaigns are. So just to give you a recap, we saw growth across the board. Not only did we see increases in web traffic, hotel short-term rental metrics, we also saw increases to RV parks and out-of-state travel. All this is showing that the success of the campaigns, building that brand awareness, is actually working. For the campaigns that we were able to track the attribution and the return on advertising spent, the average return was about $9.58 for every dollar that you invested. So we're really making sure that we're getting the best bang for your buck. And then we're also looking at emerging markets. Where should we start investing at, or what areas are we looking at to see some growth potential based upon the interest, whether that be search demand or organic traffic? So we've noticed Cincinnati, Ohio, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Indianapolis as emerging markets to watch for future growth. And specifically, just remember Cincinnati here, and we'll talk about that later. And then for helping your partners, Madden is driving 24% of all the traffic to your partner websites. So again, one of our main goals too is pushing all this great traffic that we're generating out to the partners and making sure that the partners are getting some benefits of all the people that are interested in Crystal River and finding that information.
And that's all last fiscal year?
This was
through September of 22?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify, thanks.
Yep. So that was all for 22. So this is this last quarter. So this is going to be for October through December. And I promise I don't have as many slides as what I just ran through. So for this last quarter, we have already generated 9.3 million impressions for the campaigns over the last 3 months. SEM is still rocking with a 12.56% click-through rate. We're still above industry averages across all of the metrics that we measure against. Our organic traffic is still up. We did not look at the international traffic for this last quarter, but for our domestic travel, Atlanta, DC, Chicago, and Indianapolis, we're seeing, again, 193% increase from quarter to quarter, 30, 20, and 84% in the other cities. And lastly, I wanted to also point out, we have noticed a slight shift in the demographics that are coming. So if we look back from Q1 of fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 23, you can see that our 45 to 54 and 55 to 64 were our highest peaks, where this last quarter, that has actually shifted to 35 to 54. So really making sure that we want to make sure that we're representing who's actually coming, what those people are, what we want to aspire to be when we grow up, essentially, and making sure that we're always being representative of those people. So that brings us to our conservation campaign. Our team has been hard at work over the last couple of months to generate a lot of content marketing, blog posts, a microsite for the campaign, as well as this augmented reality tactic that we are doing with a company called Gravity Jack. The conservation campaign will also include one of our key components of zoo activations. So we RFP'd 14 different zoos, and out of those 14, 3 of them came back with agreeing to a partnership and allowing us to actually be there on their property and have some type of interaction with their audiences. Out of those 3, we are recommending 2 of them. The third one wanted over $200,000 just to have a weekend event. So trying to be realistic and kind of set some expectations, that was just not worth the investment in our opinion. So we're recommending Zoo Tampa as well as the Cincinnati Zoo. And if you remember, I said remember Cincinnati. That's also because it's one of our emerging markets that we want to focus on as well. We're going to have, we're still negotiating, of course, once you determine what the budget level is. But part of what we are working with the zoos to see is having an in-person event and a team there representing such as Manny the manatee dressed up in a manatee costume. We'll have information, promotional giveaways, educational items with partnership with Save Crystal River. And then, of course, we'll be able to show them the great new augmented reality portal that we're working on. The portal should be done by the end of February, so we can't wait to release that out and show that out to the public. And then also there'll be a sweepstakes prize as well, enter to win, where we can do first-party data capture. In addition to this, we are also planning to put media support behind this with a combination of public relations efforts as well as paid media traffic by Madden. And we'll also geofence these locations to capture that audience that's there to actually see the event and make sure that we're remarketing them for future messaging. We'll also work with the PR company Hayworth to make sure that complementary efforts are being generated on the earned media side as well. So the 2 zoos that we recommend are the Cincinnati Zoo. This is just some of the highlights that we've been talking with them about so far. They're proposing a month-long Adopt a Manatee certificate program, having that register to win sweepstakes, a 2-day on-site activation, and then they will also promote it across all of their social media channels. One of the great reasons that we like the Cincinnati Zoo too is they have a huge national following. They have over 4 million followers on Facebook, and they're just super popular, super engaged, and make a really good presence. And I see Jody over here shaking her head.
The Cincinnati Zoo is absolutely crazy. They have viral videos probably once a quarter there for that zoo, and whoever's running their socials knows what they're doing for sure.
Yeah.
They don't have a manatee. They don't have manatees there though, do they?
Yes, they do.
They have a refuge.
That was one of the requirements of the zoos that we RFP'd, and we also RFP'd working with Gene, SeaWorld, as well as a couple of the aquariums as well. So part of the kind of restriction or requirement, if you will, was to make sure that they either had manatees in captivity or rehabilitation.
Sorry.
Yep. So because of the popularity of this, they typically have a minimum of $100,000, but because this campaign is geared towards conservation and rehabilitation efforts, they are allowing us to do it at a cheaper price point and willing to work with us for this type of campaign. And they're putting it in under their marketing umbrella for this conservation effort rather than a true promotional campaign.
You said normally 100,000? So it would be something south of that?
Correct.
Awesome.
50, right?
Yes,
Yep, there it
50.
is.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you were still negotiating, so I am not on all cylinders yet. I will be by next meeting.
We're always negotiating.
Well, yeah, we're in talks with them. So I mean, until the board, of course, approves a final budget, then that changes based upon what is approved. And then Zoo Tampa, they are also providing some recommendations on having an event in their space, giving us rights to their logos and their data. They will include us in some of their e-newsletters, their social media posts. And then, of course, being in Tampa, we have that, already some great brand recognition there. We'll do some geofencing campaigns. And then we are also working with Hayworth to do a public relations VIP event and making sure journalists are invited and to show off this augmented reality portal and to learn about the conservation efforts here in Crystal River. There are also some kind of additional perks that we can get from them, such as additional tickets to the zoo that the team can use for fam tours or things that might come up if they wanted to use those tickets as well. So for both of these, we plan to have a media campaign that runs to promote and to push out the conservation message. Not only at the in-person event will we have the augmented reality portal that we'll be showcasing, we really want to push the conservation blogs that we've created. Josh Thompson on our team has written several blogs working with Save Crystal River to really find out the intricacies of what it takes to do conservation, how you can be engaged, how you could donate, how you can support. And so all of that information is written for different age levels as well. So we have word search, for example, for kids with conservation terms, so they can start to learn at an early age. So this campaign will be supported by Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, Google Display Responsive, mobile location media, so geofencing those events and making sure that we're capturing that audience, and then public relations with press releases, VIP media events, and key interviews with journalists who focus on conservation and eco-friendly tourism efforts. This is just a sample of the activation media plan that we are talking with, but again, this is flexible depending on the budgets that are approved. So for special funding requests, we are asking $100,000 in total to pull off these two events. That also does pay for the significant portion that each zoo is requiring, and then as well on top of that, the media and the cost of the costumes and things like that. Any questions?
I kind of look like a manatee right now already, so just put me in one.
At what point are we going to start paying more payroll for you since you're bringing an extra crew member every week?
I should get.
You
at
walked
least
in, I was
one
like,
at a
wow,
quarter.
that's a big difference. Because I
I
haven't seen
told
you in 2
Jerry when
months.
I walked in that I'm gonna start petitioning for expected mother parking because I was like breathing heavy walking in.
She might get an extra $36 a day on travel money. The state per
Eating
diem.
for two.
The state per diem. We can see what we can do. So this number is in line with what the original presentation, where they thought we were trying to get 4 at 50 each.
Yeah.
But
And they came in at 200 each.
one
instead.
did.
Yeah.
One won it all, and but so this is in line with what was originally presented, and now it's fully fleshed out in terms of what we're going to get, and so that's
Cool.
just a reminder of where these numbers were.
And the 25,000 for media is going to be on top of the 100, or is that included?
No, this includes that.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this would cover the cost that we have to pay the zoo for having people there, having the event space, any of the promotional items that they will do for us in terms of their social media channels. It pays for the media that we will do for Madden. It also pays for like that VIP event that we're working with Hayworth on for the journalist. And then the expenses of, buying the manatee costume and having team members there to work the booth at the events, things like that.
Awesome.
How long is the presentation? Is this like a weekend presentation, or is this for a whole quarter, or what's this?
So the event itself would be a weekend event. So we're again, that goes back to some of the negotiations that we've got to finalize after the budget's approved. But we're looking for at least 2 days, if not 3 days, of a long weekend with those zoos. And we're using some of their recommendations on when they have the highest traffic, or if there's an event in association that they know is going to bring in more people. So we've got some flexibility in terms of the date still, but the campaign will be ready in March. But we're looking at potentially March, April, or May for the actual events. From there, though, while it is a 2-day event, we are pulling all of those people into our marketing pool that we can then start messaging up to 90 days after the fact.
Any other board comments? So you're looking for a motion, I assume?
Yes, it's probably easier to.
I have one question. That when you were showing the slide, it's back a bit, where it showed like where of the shopping and the places visited, where did that information come from? It's like, was it totally focused countywide or just on the west side, or how? Because I mean, it's not one person visited a park in Inverness. I mean, nothing showed up.
So this is with Madden Voyage. This is mobile data information. So looking at where people are coming and tracking their mobile device identification number. So this is just the top 10. It does not necessarily mean that a certain park isn't somewhere else on the list, but this is just the top 10.
Jackie, it is throughout. It is measured. We measure the entire county. So we have points of interest throughout the county. We have thousands of them. Specifically in Inverness, I can just tell you real quickly, Inverness Depot District with the Coochie Trail, the downtown Main Street area. So they're all included in that, the whole county.
And I think when we looked at the full list, Depot District was between 16 and 20. That was your guys' top one, and it was between 16 and 20.
I was going to say 16, I think, was what it was.
That's what's really somewhere around in there. So I think if we were to list like every attraction that we have, which it's a long list. I forget if it's 30 or 40.
There's at least 75 specific points of interest that we've done as a team of attractions, but then there's also about 200 additional ones that are like gas stations and grocery stores and things like that.
So of that list of 75 points of attraction, 16 would be the East Side's top one, which would be the Depot District.
Okay, that's clearer. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think, just quick math, I think this is probably about 2/3 of the visitation. It's about 67-70%.
It's like the sampling is about 5% of all the phones that come in. Right. So it's not an exhaustive of everybody that wandered through. So just kind of keep that in mind too. It's just a snapshot of everybody, but this platform is. So it's allowing us to see things that we haven't seen before in terms of, we think they're going places, but now we know, we can, everything previously was anecdotal. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they went to downtown, but.
And even though it's a representation of say 5%, that number is so significantly larger compared to doing a qualitative study where we're sitting there with a clipboard, right? Maybe get 300 where we might be getting 30,000 with this. And I'm sure that the staff can also provide the full list if you're interested in that.
So that brings us back to motion.
Yes.
I'll make the motion to move 100,000 from special projects to support the 2 zoo activations. Second.
Excellent. Any further board discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. We have
you,
one
TJ.
more request. Sorry, I
Strike
thought
what-
you were done with me.
God, are you an ad agency? I mean,
Strike while the iron's hot.
So as we're working on all of these campaigns, right, we're looking at the representation that we're showing in all the imagery, as well as making sure being particular about how we're wording certain things in our content marketing as well. One of the things that we noticed that we have a significant gap in is with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we are proposing to do a video and photo shoot to capture some of this information. So I've got Josh Johnson, our creative strategist here, who's going to talk to us a little bit about why the DEI aspect is so important. And then I'll jump back in and talk with you about the deliverables and money.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Fast? Are you gonna click? Yeah. Give it a click. All right, forward, backward. All right, like TJ shared earlier, your demographics are changing rapidly, so we want to update assets to also showcase that and to show people themselves and the destination as well. So our goal is to showcase diverse viewpoints in an effort to represent all the individuals who can enjoy the Crystal River, and our why is to attract a wider audience, to continue to cast a wider net and attract more visitors to the Crystal River area. Though we think the travel industry's biggest amenity is diversity, and 3 out of 5 travelers do agree and say that they move their travel plans in line with destinations that align with their own inclusion and diversity values. That number rises even higher in LGBTQ plus persons and self-identifying ethnic minorities, whose increased spending power across the US, UK, and Canada is well documented. And then how do we showcase this amenity? Inclusion. So we want to showcase people in images and videos that can see themselves in destination as well. And DEI is more than a buzzword. It is inclusion, and it's more important than ever. And Crystal River has the opportunity to bridge that gap with filling in 54% of consumers that don't feel represented in online advertising. And
Is that 54% in our online advertising or advertising in general?
across the board.
Thank you.
Yep. So during this shoot, we focus on the following audiences: BIPOC, LGBTQ plus communities, disabled travelers, blended families, and solo travelers. Some kind of visual inspirations of what we'd like to see in assets. So blended families, same-sex couples, people with disabilities, and things of that nature. The DEI-focused video shoot would include all of these things listed here, and then I'll pass it back to TJ to go over the budget.
So this DEI shoot is so relevant because even yesterday as we were filming for the augmented reality, we were talking with the captain about all of the different ethnicities and his stories, and he said his most meaningful experience that he's ever had as a captain was with someone who was a kid about 8 or 9 years old who was an amputee. He did not have arms or legs, and they had to work out a system where he would put the kid in the water to look at the manatees and swim with the manatees, and then he would like nod his head twice to bring him back up. And having this ability to even swim with the manatees when you don't even have arms and legs, but you're being helped by your captain, your guide, the kid went to him and at the end of the trip was crying and said it was the best experience of his entire life and something that he probably would never have a better experience ever. So it's really something that pulls at the heartstrings. It matters because it is something that people look at for that representation, whether you are disabled or you are African American or sexual orientation. We also have a couple of campaign needs where we have wanted to target the LGBT community, group travel planners, where we really did not have any visual assets to be representative in that market. And we actually passed on that media opportunity because we did not have something that was representative for that audience. So this will allow us to be more inclusive, to have this representation. We are also going to do other photography and videography as a part of this campaign, but we want to make sure that we're capturing this DEI audience so we have these graphic images moving forward. The DEI shoot will be, of course, all pre-production storyboarding, full 8K cameras. We'll be shooting in red, which also allows us to pull still imagery so we can have brand consistency across the images. It includes all the post-production and talent, hair and makeup, things like that. So we're planning on a 2 to 3 day shoot at this budget level. So we are asking for $55,000 to pull this off. Are there any questions?
Yes. You touched on this, I think, but I just want to be clear. So this content that you're getting assets, is that going to be deployed singularly in, more siloed media as well as worked into our normal for more broad media?
So we're going to have it available for specific tactics that pop up. So currently one of the print publications, I believe it's called Out Florida or Out Coast. So that's one specific tactic. We're not planning on doing a full DEI campaign for this, but as tactics appear throughout, the
Yes.
course of the year, we'll be able to implement that, and then as well as including it in our overall general branding message.
That's kind of what I was saying. So
Yes.
it's both. I figured it would be for both.
Yep.
May I
Um,
also add something too? Is I think moving forward too, once we have these assets, it's going to be important for us to have a DEI landing page as part of our website to advertise that we are welcoming to any disabilities, anybody, everybody.
And you're aware we have a Moby Mat out on Fort Island Beach?
Yep.
Okay. And shame on the county commission. It took somebody in a wheelchair to bring it to us. And so I'm just going to throw that out there. If there's other places in the county that need that, then please let me know so we're not caught having other people do our job for us. And then it does strike me that we have 13+% veterans in this county. So that goes very well with the amputee type. There's some nice synergy there. And you said our demos are changing rapidly, or Josh did, I think. Can you please specify on that how it relates to this?
Sure. That was also kind of like that other slide that I was talking about, moving towards a younger demographic as well. We're also seeing an uptick in the German market as well as Asian ethnicities. So making sure that we're capturing, all of that to, again, have that as part of our marketing message.
Yeah, TJ, if I could add to that, I think it's, excuse me, it's not just about messaging for these specific audiences, especially these younger demographics, regardless of what they look like, are still going to look for destinations that are welcoming to everyone. So it's something that we need just generally as we go forward for everyone. So I just wanted to add that in there too.
I agree.
For John or staff, are we able to leverage some of the things that have been done by different influencers and fam tours that have come in that would help us in some of the diversity areas? Because I know I've had 3 or 4 in the last year that would fit, hate to say categories, but would fit the different demographics. Better phrasing.
Yeah, I think that's something that we definitely look at with the influencers is who they're talking to, and so I do think there's having this as a showpiece, like with the video, makes it a little easier to attract those that may not think that we're not to be on their radar yet. So I think there's lots of ways that we can amplify these and utilize them, and like Holly said, across the board on our marketing, but also on some targeted campaigns as we move forward.
And just to add to that, even if we did work with an influencer, typically if we were going to use video or photo assets that they've produced, we would still have to buy licensing for that imagery, even if it is a part of their campaign, because they technically still own those assets. So we would have to buy the rights for that regardless.
Okay. I just wonder if there was a way to leverage, prior investment in the fam tours, or not really.
It's a good opportunity though, because in the last even 6 months, we've received 3 requests from differently abled influencers to come visit. Of course, we're always seeing an increase in the people of color coming to do the influencing media trips, things of that nature. And then Terry did a great job with the Outcoast fam that came in as well. So we're definitely seeing an increase in interest from the media standpoint of it. So I can only imagine that the traveler side of it would follow suit.
And just like 2 months ago, three months ago, maybe, we had an LGBT group tour operator opportunity. That is the one that I mentioned that we ended up having to pass on. They reached out to us wanting, some participation, and we just really did not have anything to give them. So we passed on that opportunity. And it was something that really would have been a nice program.
Sounds like a no-brainer.
Any further comment? Questions? All right. Looking for a motion?
Correct.
Second.
So, okay. Motion and a second. Any further board discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you. Now I promise I'm done this time.
I was about to say, it sounded like you were going to go for a third.
So, here we are with the revenue so far. We're still ahead. Not the gigantic leaps that we've been seeing, but we are still 10% above best year ever. So I think, like Michael mentioned at one time, it's kind of hard that when you report back, oh yeah, we're only up 10%, but yeah, we're 10% over a gigantic win. So, but as I'll use my standard line, I don't know that it's sustainable. Just throw that out there. So, as I do every meeting, and maybe that's the good luck charm, is I keep saying it's going to fall down and it doesn't. But it's it's like I said, as we're heading into our stronger months here. So, before we go into this, the STR data, I fixed the glitch. Why we haven't been getting it. I finally worked it out between legal and the company, and we've got it all sorted. So we'll have all that data back probably for next meeting. I just took care of it yesterday, but yeah, it was paperwork.
Will it retro back
Yeah,
to the month?
yeah, they'll get everything that we should have been receiving from September. We'll have the complete set. It's just, paperwork was a struggle.
Would the board like that included in the next agenda?
Yeah.
The next meeting, the back?
Or if nobody else
Of course
wants it,
you
you can
do,
just
data
send it to me.
Yeah. We'll add that for the next one. So, at this point, I'll turn it over to Alyssa with the social report.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning. My name is Alyssa Hofelt, and I head up social media. And this is only the second time I've been up here, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm here. I'm going to go over what went on this month, and we had a couple of really good things happen. So I'll just go from right to left, which is a little different. But for Instagram, we had our best post was a video. I called it Santa Vacationing in Crystal River, and I posted that on Christmas Day, and it received 21,500 views and got a really good response over that. So it starts out with Santa on a paddleboard, and then it goes underwater, and there's a really cute manatee, so it's very sweet. So I just said that I know where Santa is. He's vacationing in Crystal River, so very cute. And then our fishing report, let's see. So we reached, our best post was, we reached over 4,500 people. So the fishing reports on our fishing page do the best. Those seem to get more engagement. And then the big news, I think, is the live feed that I did from Three Sisters Springs on Christmas Eve morning. And I just want to say that because I'm new and I've only worked here 2 months, I wouldn't have known to do that. So Jody and Terry and John and everybody, they suggested that I do that. So I got up very early on Christmas Eve morning, and it was 27 degrees. It was really cold, but meant a lot of manatees. So I did a live feed, and it did pretty well on Instagram, but on Facebook, we reached over 1.5 million people, and we had 60, I think we're up now, because every day it gets even more. It's still getting more views and more comments. It was 67,000 or 66,000 likes, over 700 comments, and over 5,000 shares. So that did really well. And it was just me at Three Sisters Springs, basically giving, like what's going on. And I encouraged everybody to come down if they weren't too busy. And then if they couldn't come down today, to come down on the 26th, because the weather was still going to be cold. And everybody was so sweet on the feed. They were thanking me for sharing the video. And so that was good. We were happy about that. And let's see.
That's the wrong clicker.
What?
That's the
Oh, this one?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Oh, good. Okay. So let's see. We did pretty well as far as like new followers. We're up to 28.1 thousand followers. I think we're already up to 28.2. And let's see. And we gained over 300 new followers, over 5,000 accounts engaged on Instagram, and 46,000 total were reached. And then on Facebook, we have over 500 followers, which is a 37% increase. We had over 2,500 page visits, over 42% increase. And we had 592,000 accounts reached, which is a 67% increase. So we were happy about that. And then I just put at the bottom, when I created when I pulled the analytics for this, we were only up to 398,000, and that's now up to 1.5 million. So since I'm new, I'm happy. So and I'm learning. I'm learning about the county, of course, and there's so much to see, and yeah. So, and I'm going on a manatee boat tour on Saturday. I'll be attempting to take some footage and see what I can come up with. So
It's gonna be so cold.
it's going. It's
I'm
gonna.
thinking so crowded.
And welcome aboard. I'm sorry I wasn't here last month to greet you officially.
Well, thank you. And
the
that's,
public speaking gets easier the more you do it.
Yeah.
And you're doing fine.
I hope so. Thank you. So that's it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
This is the easiest board to speak to.
Yeah, try being a commissioner.
Correct.
Doing my best.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, every other Tuesday or every other Monday are difficult days.
Yeah.
Good morning. So for our PR reports this month, we approved the Influence Kit subscription last month. So we're able to start adding in our influencers to the Influence Kit. So it pulls those reporting metrics for us, which we're very excited for. On the left, you'll see our partnerships with Hayworth over there. And then we only had two in the time that we approved it to the time when this was due. We only had two influencers to put in for the ones that I've managed and sought out myself. And then soon we'll have some from Lieb and Gosh as well to include in there. So we'll have a good run of all of the people that we're bringing in for these fam tours. As you can see, the one with Hayworth had 67.3 million impressions with nearly 100,000 views on Instagram and close to 4,500 engagements. And if you could click view full report for me. So if we scroll down, we'll see where the majority of them are coming from festivals in Florida, MSN article. So that's fantastic. Brittany sent out a press release, including a blog that she and I worked on together about some of our upcoming events in the area to continue to promote those. And so I believe it's the Manatee Festival that's mentioned in that article as one of the best festivals in Florida to go visit. And we'll continue to send out different ones for Strawberry Festival and other upcoming events we have. You can also see we had some Tampa Bay Times articles, and then Coastal Living is where we're getting a lot of that Instagram pull from for the Hayworth report. So that was awesome. We worked with one of our local partners here to share some of their manatee footage with Coastal Living, who had seen it on our Instagram page and wanted to share it. So that was a really good opportunity for them, and also opened the door for us to invite Coastal Living back in February for a fam visit. So that'll be a great opportunity in the future. We can go back.
Just to make sure the M there represents million, not 3 zeros.
Yes. So like it was 1.46 million for the middle one. That was the one that was in my
Yeah,
ask.
it's 67
Yeah.
million.
67 million. And like I said, most of those are coming from that MSN article. That's why it's mostly that orangey tan color, because that's an online article. It's hard to read there at the bottom. The purple color is an Instagram. The blue color is a Facebook. There's some red in there for Pinterest. So they've got it broken up by colors there in those pie charts. For the two influencers that we pulled in the time since from approval to when the reports were due, if you'll click full report for me there, they were smaller ones, but Mike can attest to this. Sometimes our smaller influencers are the gifts that keep on giving and just continue to produce content over and over again. So when we have a slower time, we do like to pull in some of those. If you'll scroll down for me a bit there, Shaylin we were actually her first DMO that she's worked with, and we've got her set up with Hayworth to work with more in the future. But she had a good little run there, and she's has provided a lot of content for us to use for our own marketing purposes as well, which is great. And then if you'll continue to scroll for me, this was Andreza is from the show that we went to in Orlando. Terry, I'm sorry, my brain. No, not the fishy one.
Huddle?
No, I haven't gone to that one yet. That one hasn't happened yet.
IPW?
Thank you.
Keep going.
We'll get the right initials in a minute.
Pregnancy brain is not doing me any favors. So we met Andreza at IPW, and what I liked about her was that she offered across many platforms there. So we've got the Instagram, the Facebook, and if you scroll down a little more, there's also YouTube as well as a blog post. So I'm sure we'll continue to see some good metrics come up with that, because a lot of those are fairly recent as well. So this is what we can expect moving forward with Influence Kit, and next time we'll have even more opportunities or more media trips to share with you. These were just the only two that fit in that right time period there. So they're RV there yet, folks? I think that's on my next slide, actually.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I forgot we weren't on the slide.
No worries. Yeah. So for our upcoming fam trips, mine are in green and Terry's are in purple. So we just had Color Earth come in. They've done a lot of our underwater filming in the past. They did scalloping in 2017 as well as manatees in 2020. And they have amazing equipment. They get great stuff. So when we were discussing with them, they basically offered us the manatee trip on trade, and then they'll do scalloping with us come the summer. So that'll be something to look forward to. And the Manatee Season Media Fam is coming this weekend. We're very excited for that. That's eight individuals, so seven actually, 4 journalists, and 3 of them have guests with them. They will be doing swimming with the manatees, kayaking, and going to the Manatee Festival. So we have got a great weekend planned for them. We saw with Galentine's last year that these large fams offer a really fun opportunity for people, and a lot of times the guests that they bring, especially the influencers, will bring an influencer as a guest, so you kind of get a little extra bang for your buck there. This is the first one that Brittany and I are working on this year. We'll have one for the east side coming up in March to cover Strawberry Festival as well as the trail. And then we'll have a scallop season one, an Elvis focused one. We've got several plans throughout the year to work on several more, so it'll be great. And then You've Got to Try This is a partnership with Visit Florida that'll be coming up a little bit closer towards the end of the month. And we've worked with Cycle Here Media in the past. They're coming in to film a unique family experience that'll be promoted on all of Visit Florida's social media channels and websites. And they've also recruited Carol Grant to work with them. And Carol has been a fantastic resource in the past. Her work has been in the Smithsonian, so she always produces great things. We can't wait to see what comes out of that. And then on to the RV There Yet. They're scheduled to come in February 5th through the 10th. Their first 2 days will be over on the east side, taking stock of the trail, air boating, and horseback riding over there. And then the rest of the trip, they'll be over on the west side doing manatee swim tours, the wildlife park, and kayaking. So that show, we voted to approve that out of the special projects funding. We're very excited to see where that goes, to highlight some of our RV partners as well. And then the last one that we're excited for is the National Parks Travelers. We've got several more that have come in the last 2 weeks as well. So it's a busy time for sure. But National Park Travelers is a fantastic Instagram account. It's a young couple. So we're leaning into that 35 to 45 age demographic again. And they go to all kinds of different national parks and highlight them. So it's really appropriate for our audience as far as outdoorsy activities as well. Any questions on this one? That'll be it for me then.
I'm just going to stay seated. No, I'm not even pregnant. This is a recap of November just because of the timing of everything. But John and I attended World Travel Market in London. It was a fantastic show for us, aided by Gosh PR and setting up appointments with us from trade and media people. Really a great show as far as we met with new tour operators, up and coming tour operators. And we were able to get proposals for several other media campaigns. TJ touched on that, the international campaigns that we're doing. So we're got the ball rolling on that. I also attended a big AAA event that was great. It was for the entire Northeast. And so, everywhere from stopped at Virginia and went all the way up north. But it was all the regional sales managers for all that represented all the travel A offices and travel agents in that region. So it was fantastic exposure for us there. And that's about it. There you go. The rest is in writing.
Awesome. Okay.
Yep. So next month I'll have the grant reworked for approval. I'm working with legal to give us the flexibility I thought we had. But it'll actually be in writing, so some of those things that we tried to make it simpler all the way around. But other than that, I think like I said, it was a good month. The office is clicking right along. So if there's any questions about any of that, no. Okay, thanks.
I would like to, under this particular item, is to discuss the Academy of Environmental Sciences. I'm 99.99% sure there's absolutely no way this board can help them. But is everyone aware that they need $350,000 by the end of this month? We are the Nature Coast, and that is one of our greatest assets for environmental and education in this county. So I just wanted to bring the subject up and see if anybody had any thoughts, and if nothing else, all of us are influencers in this county, and if there's anything that we can do individually in our circles to help them raise money, I'm certainly going to do it. I will probably write, depending on what my financial advisor says, write them a decent sized check. Or I attended a meeting last week, and it was right when all my family was coming in, and I was super overbooked, and I did a flyby, and I just butted in and said, give me 60 seconds, and I got up there and I said, I've got to go, but I just want to say, use me and abuse me as a commissioner with my megaphone to raise money for you guys. So if there's anything that I can do, and I think I may have said put me in the dunk tank, because I'm sure you'll have a lot of takers. Does anybody feeling a panic like I am about this? This is pretty dire.
Yeah,
and it has nothing to do with BOCC, because it's CCSD. Like, you know, and I know they came to Crystal River, right? So go ahead, Jackie, what would you
No,
like
I
to
was
say?
just gonna say, we all need to talk to people higher up the food chain that we know and people with fat wallets, cause that is something too dear to lose.
Yes.
And I mean, it's right there, like if it's gonna open next year, that's up in the air right now, so I agree with you on that.
I mean, 350,000 in 3 weeks is a lot, and
It is.
Those numbers kept fluctuating during the meeting.
did it?
There wasn't specifics. It was all over the place. So.
We need to figure out
The
who.
immediacy of the 350 was not immediacy.
Yeah, like I don't want to write. You know, I don't have this. I'm not a wealthy person. I don't have this to give if it's going to go nowhere. You know, I
Yeah.
need some sort of assurances before I write a check that it's actually going to go
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was very, very rushed last minute, like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
anyway.
think they just gotta bring us, everybody a little bit more information on what their needs are. Jackie, do you have anything to say about?
Well, I was just gonna bring, some of my people are still here. I was ignorant to the fact that we had to go through a much different process than the city does to get something on the agenda, so I apologize for that. But when there wasn't even a comment, I'm like, is it worth coming back, or am I hearing there's no interest in, supporting it was just unnerving. The silence was deafening.
Well, I would say part of what I'm doing when I spoke to the attorney yesterday, as it stands now, when it came last year for the request, and we couldn't hear it because of the process.
Right.
That's what I was told yesterday. Even until we approve something different next month, that process still is in place. So there really isn't any way to help. Not this month. Not this month. But, you know, like I said, I'm working with them. We'll have with the attorney to try to give us flexibility. You know, what we ran into with the first time when it came through was it's an event, and so there's in the way the paperwork is written, we have an event cycle, right? The one that we usually do January into March. So that's some of the stuff I'm trying to figure out to wordsmith so that we do have flexibility, so we can hear things that maybe are outside in terms of amounts or time periods and things like that. So that's on my plate to finish up, to try to so that there's a way to do it, because right now we don't have one, and unfortunately, like I said, I thought we had the flexibility, but I was wrong. So
The only reason they were bringing it up, we're already planning, and Mr. Pritchard, Steve, has indicated if he can't get the match from the TDC, he's not going to be able to do it this year. Or in that is 23. So we were like, okay, we trying to line something up because we're already planning that far out, and at this point now we've got nothing for entertainment, because I'm gonna hope that next month Woody, can you help me there? Will next month do us any good as far as Steve, if you come make the presentation again? Do you know?
I mean, possibly, but there's got to be an interest level. If there's no interest, then there's no point.
From Mike speaking on the council, and since we can't speak offline, you know, one of my concerns is if it's a for-profit entity running it, there's a concern and a certain rub associated with that. Whereas other festivals that come and ask for money to help with advertising, they're being run by nonprofits. And I realize some of the funds may have gone to nonprofits from it. The other thing is I'd really want to, see hard numbers on the budget and where the money went. And then there's the counterbalance of if there's a significant investment beyond what we do now for festivals for advertising, which I think it's capped at like 7,500 or something,
Mm-hmm.
for Manatee Festival, for Stone Crab Jam, for whatever else, Blues and Barbecue, whatever other entities that come here, then that starts creating a disparity between what's available for one festival for advertising versus another. So I think I would need to see the budget. If it's $40,000, it's 50% of the advertising budget. That's a whole lot of advertising. But if it's actually funding the musicians and acts, legally, I think we need to figure out where we stand as a board. So those are the questions in my mind. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but right now I've got a lot more questions than I have answers on that number. I'm kind of chronicle deep and, a little bit from the presentation this morning.
Is that pretty well that's what everyone's
Yeah.
waiting for?
Okay, good point,
Yeah,
Mike.
I mean, numbers instead of a lot is a good thing to have.
Okay.
Is it fair to say then that if our standard is 7,500, which I do recall and very, very well said, Mike, that we could do 7,500 towards advertising, right?
That requires the tracking of room nights to a certain level. That's the so far the only event that's been able to tap into that is the Dragon Boat Festival.
Yeah.
Because it's essentially a sporting event, and they have teams, and it's very easy to keep track of keep track of who's there and find the rooms. On an individual travel event like a music festival, it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's even if you have codes set up at hotels, people have brand loyalties, or they go to their friends and relatives. There's it's a
Airbnb.
It is difficult to do it that way. So if that's this is sort of brainstorming. Even if we write a different version, so we have that one, right? We have that one. Then we have maybe, just lack of a better term, we'll call it big ticket things. There still has to be that room night component, and it's not because even in the smaller grant, if you don't achieve what you said, there's a reduction. So it's all reimbursement, and it's not so much of a.
And that's the other thing to keep in mind too. It's not an advance.
Right.
We're going to reimburse them. So if they can't cover that 40,000 they're asking for, then
Yeah, that's just that's just the way it's been, and I think it's the reimbursement. I think is the safest for the county in terms of assuring that those funds are utilized the correct way.
Right. Well, I expect that.
Yeah, I just.
Okay.
But I mean, like I said, I'll bring these things back next month, and that, like I said, to have the flexibility, it's not that hard to write that section. Then we decide, as the board decides, whether you like that type of proposal, and does it have the right teeth or positive things, however you want to look at. And so I'll bring that back, but that's my charge for the next week, so I can get that to legal in time, so they can tell me how off or how correct I am, like Price is Right.
Okay. Anything else by any other board
Yes.
members? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, glad that Matt and team's here. So you remember the movie Vacation where they all went to Wally World and it was closed? So I don't know if you guys are aware, Three Sisters is closing. And we had one kayak company has been contacting the city, very worried about how they're gonna fare through this next April through November process. I asked them to come and express their concerns. They did not come. But anyway, so just thoughts maybe with upcoming campaigns, if maybe we could pull a little away from 3 and Hunter Springs or other areas. Just thoughts, because they're claiming it's going to devastate the kayak business. You know, I mean, there's a lot of water to kayak.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I mean, I had a manatee tour company and Three Sisters was closed while we went somewhere else. I mean, but that was me.
We currently only have one kayak company that offers individual tours of the Chaz to take them out to the Crack and Seven Sisters. So just a thought process. That's something that I mean, when we do it, we work exclusively with Get Up and Go because they're the only ones that people can book their tours.
They are.
So that would be something that something to encourage them to do is maybe explore the idea of shuttling you'd have to work on a partnership with the different campgrounds and things like that, but possibly chatting with them about taking the Chazawiska as an opportunity because it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah, but there's just that big concern.
Yes.
Well, as a reminder for all of us, it's closed this April to this November.
Right.
Right? So it's
Right.
open for the next manatee season. The boardwalk is still open?
Yes.
No.
Boardwalk is closed
No,
as well.
the park,
Okay.
yeah, the park is
The city
closed.
won't be able to transport people back there as
Yeah.
well.
We should have told you.
The boardwalk, I have to say, is a tad boring during non-manatee
Oh,
season.
of course it is. Unless you've been that person in your life that has never seen a spring.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, oh my
Well, and there's the other trails, you know, for trees and flowers and
Yeah.
birds.
Yeah.
But
I actually did that in the summer last year, and I was like, wow, I'm so glad
Yeah.
I
So anyway,
haven't
so
done this
that's
before.
That's the big concern that
Really bored.
one particular vendor is talking about to us. Next thing, Manatee Festival, as you all know, is this weekend. It looks like it's going to be a cold one again.
Yes, it does.
Cold and blowy.
Again.
well, hopefully not monsoon wet like last year.
Oh yeah. Have you not done a swim with a manatee tour yet?
This Saturday is my first
It's your first time.
Oh yeah, Saturday's not a good choice. Reserve judgment after Saturday.
It's going to be chilly, but it'll be good.
It'll be good.
The water will feel really warm.
You'll have a lot of friends. Just some of them will be manatees, and a lot of them will be people as well.
Anyway, that's pretty much it, I think, for us.
Awesome. Anything else? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.